The entertainment industry has always had a captivating, almost ruthless charm, building people up to stratospheric heights, only to relish in watching them fall. And right now, Rachel Zegler finds herself in the eye of that storm. Her career trajectory is unfolding as one of the more intriguing cases in recent memory. What makes her situation worth deeper examination isn't just another typical celebrity misstep. It's a rare convergence of strategic misjudgments by the industry, a clear rejection from audiences, and a stunning lack of self-awareness all playing out in full view. Let's dive into what's happening with Zegler's highly anticipated London stage debut in Evita, which, by all early indicators, is shaping up to be her third major professional flop in a row. Ticket sales are alarmingly weak. The seating charts for the iconic London Palladium, a massive venue with over 2,200 seats, are a sea of green, a visual representation of unsold tickets. And we're not talking about last-minute cancellations or overpriced seats. These are performances scheduled weeks in advance, and even the lowest tier tickets priced at just $29.50, roughly the cost of a movie night with snacks, are barely moving. What's particularly revealing is how Zegler's team is choosing to respond. Instead of taking a hard look at the core reasons behind this disinterest, they're reportedly placing the blame on so-called online backlash. But this kind of scapegoating misses the point entirely. The more straightforward, and perhaps painful, truth is simple. People just don't care enough to buy tickets. This isn't some organized boycott, it's apathy. If you examine Zegler's recent history, a troubling pattern starts to emerge. Her breakout role in West Side Story, a prestigious project under the direction of Steven Spielberg, failed to make waves at the box office despite heavy promotion and widespread critical praise. That should have been a wake-up call, but instead of re-evaluating, the powers that be doubled down, casting her in Disney's live-action Snow White remake. What followed was a publicity disaster of near-legendary proportions. During the press tour, Zegler made a series of comments that didn't just raise eyebrows, they alienated the very fan base Disney depends on. She described the original Snow White as weird and outdated, labeled the prince as a stalker, and dismissed the classic love story that has enchanted generations. But it wasn't just what she said. It was the smug, dismissive tone she used, suggesting not only a lack of reverence for the original material, but also a condescending attitude toward those who love it. The fallout from those remarks was swift and far-reaching. It wasn't just confined to social media echo chambers, it had tangible effects. The film's reputation took a hit, and so did Zegler's image. What we're witnessing now with Evita isn't a separate issue. It's the third act in a cautionary tale about a young actress who's been given prime opportunities but repeatedly fails to earn lasting audience support. The theater world, which could have served as a clean slate, a place to prove herself anew in a different artistic medium, seems just as unimpressed and disengaged. The industry's reaction, or rather lack thereof, is telling. There's a noticeable silence from fellow actors, collaborators, and industry insiders who would normally be vocal cheerleaders for a production of this scale. No behind-the-scenes Instagram posts, no excited interviews, no supportive tweets. In a field where image and networking are everything, that kind of quiet is deafening. Media coverage has also shifted gears. The same outlets that once heralded Zegler as the next big thing are now adding terms like controversial and divisive to their descriptions. The tone has changed. What was once celebratory is now careful, even wary, an unmistakable signal that her standing in the industry is slipping. What's arguably the most perplexing aspect of all this is Zegler's own apparent lack of awareness. Instead of showing signs of introspection or personal growth, she continues to post cryptic, defiant messages on social media. Her online presence suggests she sees herself as a misunderstood trailblazer rather than someone who might be responsible for the backlash she's facing. There seems to be a wide disconnect between how she views her situation and how audiences and industry professionals are interpreting it, and that disconnection is proving costly. This isn't about so-called cancel culture, nor is it the result of internet trolls ganging up. It's about fundamental audience psychology. People don't want to support entertainers who appear to look down on them or the stories they hold dear. When Zegler mocked the foundations of Snow White, she didn't just criticize a movie, she invalidated the emotional connection millions have with that story. That kind of dismissiveness doesn't sell tickets no matter how talented you are. But this fallout runs even deeper than poor reviews or sluggish ticket sales. Word is spreading in professional circles that Zegler is becoming seen as a liability, and not just creatively, but financially. Film studios and theater producers invest tens of millions into projects, and they need leads who can excite the public public, not scare them off. It's not that people are questioning her acting ability, they're questioning the cost of the baggage she brings. There are reports that casting directors are privately labeling her as uninsurable. That's not a literal statement about liability insurance. It's code for saying that casting her introduces PR and box office risks that many aren't willing to shoulder. Some projects she was previously attached to are being quietly recast, with scheduling conflicts being the polite excuse offered. What's especially striking is how fast all of this has happened. Not long ago, Rachel Zegler was Hollywood's golden girl, discovered by Spielberg himself, plucked from obscurity, showered with praise, and given access to roles that actors spend lifetimes chasing. She even won a Golden Globe. The rapid decline, from golden child to industry outcast, illustrates just how fragile fame can be when it's not underpinned by genuine public connection and support. While theater might operate a bit differently than film, more forgiving in some ways, more demanding in others, it still depends on audience buy-in. Theater goers may be open to redemption arcs, but they're also seasoned, discerning, and not easily fooled. The image of swaths of empty seats at the London Palladium is a brutal visual verdict. There's no way to sugarcoat it. You can't spin it with algorithms or hide it behind streaming metrics. It's an in-your-face reality check. The root problem. Here is the broken bond between performer and audience. Despite what her publicist may believe, this isn't the result of malicious online campaigns. It's the natural consequence of consumers deciding that they simply don't find Zegler worth investing in, whether that's time, attention, or money. Entertainment is a value exchange. The artist gives something compelling, and the audience reciprocates with loyalty and interest. When that exchange fails, no amount of branding, spin, or media training can fix it. Adding to this, there are rumblings from behind the scenes as well. Crew members, stagehands, costume designers, lighting professionals report dissatisfaction with projects involving Zegler. These unsung heroes of production don't have the luxury of walking away. They depend on smooth, productive environments to earn a living. And when someone repeatedly creates chaos, word travels fast. The entertainment industry, vast as it seems, has a very small-town memory when it comes to reputations. Insiders familiar with Evita have noted an unusually muted vibe around the production. Typically, a stage show headlined by a recognizable name stirs up buzz, sneak peeks, rehearsal anecdotes, interviews. But in this case, there's almost radio silence. That suggests people are hedging their bets, staying at arm's length, and waiting to see whether this turns into a win or another train wreck. Even Zegler's once passionate fan base is showing cracks. Where there used to be loyalty and defense, there's now fatigue and disappointment. Platforms that used to celebrate her now feature threads questioning her attitude, her choices, and whether they can continue to support her. Perhaps the most telling sign of a shifting tide is how the industry itself is repositioning around her. Publicists are steering interviews into group settings. Fellow actors aren't posting those typical, "so proud to be working with her" comments. Journalists are asking tougher questions. It's subtle, but the strategy is clear. Minimize, risk, redirect attention, and begin quietly backing away. This isn't personal, it's business. Hollywood doesn't cancel people, it simply stops calling. When your name no longer gets a project greenlit and starts triggering skepticism instead, the offers dry up. The spotlight moves on. For Zegler, the road ahead looks increasingly limited. This isn't just about riding out a rough press cycle, it's about proving she can still generate real audience interest. And history shows that consistent commercial failure, especially at a lead level, is difficult to come back from without a serious course correction. In hindsight, all of this could have been avoided if Zegler had approached her Snow White duties with grace and tact, acknowledging the beloved elements while teasing respectful updates. The narrative might have been completely different. Instead, she projected disdain for the very platform that gave her stardom, and audiences noticed. Psychologically, this situation is revealing. Zegler seems to view herself as an enlightened disruptor, pushing boundaries and modernizing outdated norms. But audiences see someone who seems ungrateful and dismissive. That contrast creates a feedback loop where every attempt to clarify only deepens the disconnect. This kind of public unraveling isn't entirely new. Many stars have imploded behind the scenes. But today, with social media and non-stop news cycles, the rise and fall happen faster and in full public view. Interestingly, controversy usually helps theater. Curiosity alone can drive ticket sales. But in this case, even scandal isn't generating demand. That's not bad press, it's worse. Indifference. And you can't sell indifference. Some experts think a temporary step back from lead roles could be a smart move for Zegler, an opportunity to rebuild her credibility without the weight of carrying an entire production. It's a proven route others have taken. The question is whether she and her team would be willing to make that kind of pivot after enjoying such early prominence. Even among the Evita cast, the vibe is cautious. In an industry where performative camaraderie is the norm, the lack of supportive posts or joint appearances says a lot. It's a professional distancing tactic, a quiet way of protecting one's own career by avoiding association with a potential flop. Studios that have heavily invested in Zegler now face a dilemma. With Snow White still on the release calendar, they can't afford to scrap it, but they are clearly retooling their approach, shifting focus to special effects, ensemble cast, and spectacle rather than selling Zegler as the main draw. It's a survival tactic. Journalists are adjusting too. Soft interviews have become more probing. Coverage once filled with breathless praise is now laced with caveats and qualifications. This isn't a hit job. It's a natural correction by media outlets trying to reflect reality and maintain credibility. Ultimately, the Rachel Zegler situation is more than a celebrity misfire. It's a case study in how the star system functions. In today's media ecosystem, you can put someone in the spotlight, surround them with hype, and give them every opportunity imaginable. But if the audience doesn't connect, none of it matters. The fate of Evita may still swing one way or the other depending on opening night. A miraculous turnaround could change everything. But if early signals hold, it'll be another strike. Perhaps the final one in a run of missed opportunities. And it'll serve as a reminder to Hollywood, no amount of money or marketing can replace that elusive, essential ingredient, true audience connection.